Hello, hello, passionaire out there. Thursday night. Welcome to our time online. This is Coach K. Have you ever been in a place you feel like, wow, I got stuck? Either you get stuck, you are moving nowhere, or you try so hard and you still come back to the original spot. Like, oh, this place sounds so familiar to me. The same condition, I just got rid of my terrible girlfriend. Now the second one, the same thing, or the same career. I just changed job. I moved, but now my boss is behaving similarly like my previous terrible boss, or you just keep making the same decision, and that just bring you back to the same place. That's how I define get stuck. And if you look around the whole world after pandemic, seem to get stuck as well. So today we're going to touch base on this. If you have that feeling, you are not alone. That's the number one thing. I guarantee you, a lot of people have the same feeling like you do. Some of them decide to just resign from their work. That's why, as a result, last year, 40 million US Americans resigned from their job. It's called the greatest exodus or greatest resignation ever happened in this nation. 40 million people, they are not fired. They quit. They say, hey, I'm done. I give 2 weeks notice. I'm gone. So that's one to really reflecting this get stuck mentality. Like, can I get somewhere? All right. And last week talk about COVID up. That means you couple up with somebody throughout COVID, which is a wonderful, wonderful moment when people really decide to be like coupling up. That's something that's special. But yet, we are still looking at the numbers and cases around us, like how long will this last? So we have parents and kids that after 20 years, 30 years, living under the same roof, every time they just look back to the same starting point. It's just certain, get stuck, going nowhere. So if that's how you feel, or you are encountering this type of scenario, tonight is for you. So if you are new here, you are welcome. This is Passionaire place that we love to get together. So if you want, you can subscribe this. You don't need a passion data or anything to be part of this. If you love and you plan to love what you do and do it well for life, you're one of us. So but we coming together, we will talk about how to motivate, how to encourage, how to really go through seasons of life, which I'll emphasize just many times, like as a passionaire who really motivate and driven by passions. It's not just like a linear, like, I'll get to that point, one shot. Instead, it's more look like a zigzagging. You go up, down, but you have a trend, you have a sense of direction. And more importantly, there's a season. It's different from the loop, which I talk about. Season means that you always can reinvent yourself. You always have a chance to learn from the past season and move forward. So I have many stories about people getting stuck. Okay, I have so many. I don't know which part you want to hear, but I'll start with one. This one a little bit funny, but I have to let you know that this happened. We have a girl who get to college, and she one of this mentality, especially from the Asian community. If you know Asian, Asian community, God bless you all. I'm in one, I live one. Okay, so I live in both cultures. I know them very well. So it's a book called Tiger Mom. Somebody wrote it as a mom, and there's two, part one and part two. And I think she's a Yale professor, Yale law professor, so well-educated Asian American. And she wrote a book called Tiger Mom. And the first part is about the successful case where she uses Tiger Mom mentality. You know all this, right? learn Chinese, learn English, academic, straight A, all kind of extracurriculum. When the girls is 5 year old, violin lesson. They go to every social occasion. After the first greetings, like, how are you doing? Have you eat? Like, I love this. But the next question is, what is your kids learning these days? What after school program you send your kid to learn? Violin, piano, oh, you name it. Okay. And like math, science, like, oh, okay. I've been there, so I know how everybody feels. So it's a tiger mom mentality. Wonderful. But guys, folks, you should read the second part of the book. The author actually said she got to have the second daughter where the tiger mom mentality does not work. So everybody read the first part and then close the book and say, I got it. I got it. I got it. But you should read the second part of the book. Is like the author said, yeah, but it doesn't apply, doesn't work for my second daughter. Nobody read it. So I want you to know out there, if you're a parent, you have the mentality about the tiger mom or an ego dad. I have no idea where you are. It's just really read the second part of the book. Okay, so we'll get back to the girl. She grew up in an Asian family. She just go through the system. She actually learned about street language through high school. She played violin beautifully. So, the Asian thing, like, it's very funny. Like, orchestra is about 80% Asian there. And anybody goes through this, like in this nation, in the high school orchestra, 80% Asian. So everybody just play violin, piano. After the dinner, parents say, hey, so-and-so, bring out your violin. Have some kind of so being there, live that life. So she played wonderful violin, even go to nationals. So outstanding. She's working hard, and then she landed in one of the best school called Princeton. All right, one of the best, and majored in psychology. Let me cut the story short. She actually changed major 4 times. Every year she changed major once. So it's from psychology. I won't go through everything. So so I always say this: if you change majors 4 times in college, you end up majoring nothing. Okay. So and which, no, I'm not saying you shouldn't change major, but I'm trying to, and a lot of us go to college undecided, which is wonderful, wonderful name. As an 18-year-old, like undecided. Yeah, you can do anything, but undecided sometimes carry out for 4 years. So this girl landed in the best school, had the best music training, academic training, language training. She wanted to do psychology, and then she changed major 4 times. And cut the story short, before, okay, my Wi-Fi might be, I may be losing it. Hopefully we'll come back soon. Okay, yeah, let me change it to another one. And you know what, actually she ended up coming back to major in psychology. You see, it's psychology, 3 other major, and coming back. And this, to some of us, you may not look at it as you get stuck, but you can see that 4 years or 5 years here on college campus, that's really a lesson to learn. But she come back to the starting point. So have you been in the spot, like you keep searching for something by changing outside, by ducking out of certain environment, by moving into a new state, by have a new boyfriend or girlfriend? Be honest with you, the problem is within. It's in you. You can't duck, you can escape, you can run. And I've been there. In my life, I make a lot of mistakes. Okay, so for me, so now I really feel today I want to go through a couple of patterns with you. And if you're online on YouTube, we are monitoring our YouTube chat, so you can type something, a question or anything. I want to help to unlock a couple of things that give you certain insight in terms of like, there's a certain motivation pattern, like will get you stuck. Okay. So hopefully we can kind of unlock what's inside, that you are able to see it in a way, honestly. I love the word called brutally honest about yourself. In any case, all right, let me start like this. No, other story about people going through the same loop. Oh, I have so many stories, but I'll save that for later day. But if you are here, you're online, send your question, we'll collect them, and hopefully, I'll try to answer them if possible. I'll get into a couple of things. These are I'll give you six patterns, six particular patterns that most of people experience, include everybody actually. Even as a couple or a parent and parenting situation, or even as a business, go through this cycles of development. But these are the stops, these are the valley, these are, we call it procrastination, that where you feel. So if you are ready, I'm go through this. And so we are specifically defined today. We are talking about something that you feel like, wow, I just have this in me. So if I give you a definition of procrastination, or this kind of stop, or this kind of loop, all right? Okay, ready? Form of self-regulating failure, characterized by the irrational delay of tasks despite potentially negative consequences. That's simple definition. It's like, all right, so I'll explain all those in a minute, but I'll give you 6 patterns. So hopefully today, if you kind of like, it matches me, or it matches my husband, it matches my girlfriend, I got it. Okay, so you can just send a Q&A. We hope to give you tips to unlock or to push that, not give a little bit nudge to move to the out of that kind of loop. Ready? All right, the first one, let me get into it. Oh, I love this part. Let me, if I can find it. Here we go. The first one, we call it dreamer. All right. Now, this is actually not that bad. This is definitely a pattern where when people have too much of fantasy in them, it's going all out. It's about the world. It's about the ideology. It's about the dream. Some relationship always stay in the dreamer stage. And this is one of the potential plays you could stuck for life. Recently, I just coached a lady close to 60. She's still a dreamer. She's still dreaming. And I almost want to just shut all the coaching session down and say, ma'am, wake up. You are 60. I'm not saying you shouldn't be dreaming, but if you all your life have been dreaming, never moving forward, you are stuck. All right, you have to move forward to the next step after the dreamer. So let me give you the dreamer's type of delay. And this is like, I always have some new idea. I'm multitasking. I'm like multi-thinking. Like I can do anything in the world. I graduated from this school, so I could do any job. They are dreamers that they think, they never spend a day coding computers, doing computer coding, and they just take a course for a semester. Boom, that person can do a coding career. All right, that's definitely dreamer. All right, so this is really something that as a nation we encourage young people to dream, but that's not enough. Dream is just a start, a kickstart stage, which is wonderful, or the innocent wonderment. So hey, but you have to get past the dreamer stage. So this one, when you get stuck, actually to get out of it, is very crucial, is to realize you are a dreamer. and you share the dream with somebody. And if you look at Coach Ken, look at my face, you start to like, okay. So you have to fact check your dream. But honestly, what's inside you, it must be something that it may come from your family, keep giving you this high value, which is not to its proportion. That means if you have idea, you are the leader. If you have idea, you're entitled to not doing anything, not have a system, not paying detail to attention to detail. What am I doing about? You see, I'm a dreamer tonight. Attention to details. All right. And this is a dreamer. I found so many people are still in the dreaming state. This one to me is it's less a feeling of stock, because dreamer, there's a chance to get out of it. But I've seen people just always looping around, dreaming. And if you are in a Christian circle, oh, I could go to that conference, receive a prophecy about future. That's what it happened. Right? Oh, I want God to tell me who my future husband is. That's a dreamer. Okay, that's a dreamer. Okay, that's a dreamer. All right, so dreamer. Okay, so if you get stuck because you are falling into a dreamer stage, so just give you one advice is, I really hope you are not satisfied to be just dreaming in your head. I hope you have a strong desire to see it, to touch it, to feel it, to enjoy that. Even just pick one. So this is very crucial for you to be able to what? To get a dream down select to at most 3, maybe 1, and start pick up your free will to be able to communicate to somebody around you, check with a couple people around you, senior people, older people, friends, so that they can give you a reality check. It's very, very crucial for dreamers to be able to speak, express your dream vulnerably with people who may not be dreamer. Now, the dreamer, the most deadliest trap is a bunch of dreamers got together. Okay, they just dream every day. All right, please, they could just rent a house, live together, have a lifestyle, but they are still dreamy. They all live on the minimum pay, but they have a dream, and that's a house. Please duck out, please leave. Okay, because you can't have a bunch of dreamers. You need a team. They are not just dreamers, they are workers, they are leaders, they are integrators. You need all quadrants to count. So that's the first one. Hey, if you're a dreamer, if you're stuck, this is something for you. Now, the next, ready? The next one is called Defier. Defier. I love you guys. I personally work with many defiers. I was one when I was younger. My son, Zach, who is senior, going to senior high school, he was one. Defier means I am a strong-willed person. Like, there's nothing I can do. It's like, is it a well? There is a well. There's a way. Okay. And you just like, on top of that, you want to challenge the status quo. When people said, hey, try this. And you would say, why should I try this? And when people say, why? You say, why not? Why not me? So you start to keep going out, you defy all the reality. So you must be a dreamer first, but you make one step further, which is you say, hey, I'm going to express my opinion. I'm going to be independent a little bit. I'm going to go out to a space and to work on my stuff. I don't want people watch over me. I want to challenge the system. Why should I go to school every day? Why can't I just do remote stuff? Why can't I just quit for 2 years and come back and do what I want? So Defier, oh, I love you. Defier, you're out there on fire and everywhere. Okay, I've seen Defier everywhere. But the Defier, if you have like 10 years, just be a Defier, you will get tired. It's take a lot of energy to be a Defier. It's so hard. I really want you to come home. And I want you to move a little bit to the next step. So Defier, if you are out there, so all the parents out there, if your kids are going through a Defier stage, I want to congratulate you. It's not because they are rebellious. You know why? It's actually they are trying something good because their power, their free will. There's a training possibility to help them. So this one, I would say it's a guess stock is the dreamer and defiers are, how should I say, it's still with fire. So it's much better chance for them to get out of this kind of procrastination pattern. But the next few start getting a little more serious. All right, ready? Now, the next stage is a crisis maker. This is when people start getting into relationship, especially couple up. The first 2 or 3 months is so sweet. All right, it's like, oh, and then we'll get into the kind of little bit into the defier stage, start to know each other. And but usually the month 6 or month 8, half a year passed, the crisis maker going to kick in. All right, crisis maker, because you will start to finding like that boy got some work to do, you know, that girl better learn something, cook like my mom. You know, I have heard it. Guys never tell your girlfriend like how good your mom's cooking is. It's never good. Never good. Never good. All right, never good. Okay. All right. So you just shut up and say yes. Your cooking is so unique. Okay, so you got to learn that. Okay, so crisis maker going to kick in, and so that your relationship, when you try to know each other, is based on crisis after another. You know, crisis about spending money together, crisis about being late for 30 minutes, crisis about have a different opinion about wedding, different opinion about food, different opinion about each other's friend. So the crisis coming in and you start to feel out the difference between you two. That's the number 3 stage. Are you there? Are you there? And crisis maker could be a lifelong profession. Somebody's relationship just based on lifelong crisis making. So a lot of couple, they once they have kids, you know, in the first year or second year, they kick in the crisis making mode, like baby milk. Let's find baby milk somewhere, you know. Let's do this, do that. A lot of parents and their kids relationship have been a lifelong crisis maker relationship, and this is a very deadly, because that means you have to create crisis so other people will pay attention to you, for example, or be able to making the crisis to be a bonding experience to each other, or making crisis as a leverage to get somebody else come home. You see that? Crisis maker, this one's not that bad. Okay, so I'll give you this one. Are you at the stage of crisis making? Okay, and that's the next stage. For this, we'll introduce the next one. Now, give you a little bit on the crisis making. Let me define that for you, all right? Yeah, put off task because you like working under pressure. Does that describe you? Oh, you want to put off stuff? Like when the boy and the girlfriend couple up, they can push off so many critical stuff. They don't talk about it. How to spend money together, how neat you want your room to be. You know, where should I work or should I not work? How much? All these critical things they just push up until the crisis making mode kick in. If you are there, doesn't mean your relationship is over. I'm just saying you have to get over this to the next stage. All right. So next one. Now we are getting interesting. Overdoer. All right. Now a lot of people, especially couples, fall into overdoers. You know, especially when they have kids. So for the young people out there, if you have this mentality that kids are terrible, I almost say you are wrong, you know. But if you are overdoer couple or overdoer parents, kids, that's really, really horrible thing. So you know what I mean? That means you cannot use overdoer mode to feel like you will not get stuck. So this one is a lot to do with you are not satisfied. You don't have a discipline of system, that you lack of a agreeable schedule or something that you are able to at least have yourself and your team to have some time to rest. Okay, so if you're in overdoer mode, that's what I'm talking about. All this getting stuck is all the numbers, the first four I mentioned. There's a way out, easy way. There's a way we can help you on the motivation side. Now, the next two, that's what I'm talking about today. That's really, really get stuck. Ready? And then I'll answer some question if you have. The next one, well, you see a little bit on my right-hand side, we call warrior. Instead of the W-A-R-R. Hey, it's not Golden State Warrior, okay? NBA fans. No, I know they are going to finals. I think they will be. Steph Curry is still my favorite player. I got it. Okay. I love it. But hey, you know what? It's W-O-R-R-I-E-R. Warrior. Okay. It's coming down to you worry about something. You always want to come back to the conversation started like, when we used to have this relationship, your conversation always go back to like when I first got to remember my college days. It's like, or you just have a lot of things just in your mind that you couldn't move forward. Warriors, are you out there? And everybody, when they say something, or it's like, I'm not sure, there's a stress relay. So that's one. And then I'm going to be the final one. Hopefully I go all the 6. I don't know if you are here today by chance. I want you to give yourself a good check right now. All right, I can't help you because I don't know where you are. The final one is called perfectionist. I am perfectionist. That means you have a set schedule, you have a set standard for your life, you have everything set, and for you to just make any little change is almost impossible. This is the ultimate form of getting stuck. All right, so I like to go back to all this putting together. I'll ask you guys have any question for me. And you can see this 6 stages, all the way from dreamer, defier. I give you now a very detailed one. So today is a little bit on the long side of monologue, but that's okay. I've spent 30 minutes talking. I want to do that. So any one of you feel you can, all the stages you could get stuck. There's no doubt about it, but there's a way to get out. All right. So let me see. Is there anyone, you have any questions so far about stock? About all the 6 type of, I call it procrastination, but actually it's a must to go through. Okay. Anybody have any question? Anybody online? Put your chat here if you're able to. Subscribe, send to somebody. Any questions so far? Let me see. Okay. All right. It's Sherry. Thank you for giving us this. The question is like, does everybody have to go through all 6 stages? The answer is yes. Yes and yes. And this is from the USC professor who studies thousands of corporations around the globe. They actually, corporation as a collective body of people, they all go through similar patterns. Okay. And it's hard for anybody to jump steps. So it's almost life is going circle around this. So like a season. So if you know this, then you will not rush into yourself into success, or you will not feel you are. So you always have a chance to go through this cycle of development. And then the idea is, people say, can you put the thing? I intentionally don't want to do that. So in between these 2 stages is called prime. That's where life, you experience it, where, instead of overdoer, you are able to just start select to 1 or 2 things. Start to experience the prime where your passion start to feel like, wow, I can enjoy who I am, not what I do only. I can enjoy who I am in this situation. Okay, it's a prime. It's where all the cylinder of you kick in. Okay, but the idea, if you define success, is keeping yourself in a prime condition. You will be disappointed. Okay. And for example, human being as a man, my prime physically is around 25 to 30 years old. So if I have to keep always physically at the prime of my physical strength, it's so that means, we will have certain part, we have to pass the prime and come back and relive again. So to keep yourself in the prime, it's a tall order. So most of the healthy, happy, and efficient, effective lifestyle. Let me emphasize one more time. Happy, healthy, efficient, effective, enjoyable lifestyle. Always know how to enjoy prime, but then able to go through it and then start to pick up a new dream and develop another cycle. Okay, so this is always a healthy way, a holistic way to go through it. So that means go through seasons of life. And if you and I not able to see that, you know what's going to happen? You will try to keep yourself on the prime all the time. Career prime, strength prime, look prime. Do I have to keep my look prime? I have to go to a lot of doctors, and needles and procedures. I'm not against all that. Maybe one day I have to do it. But if you want to keep you on the prime of your look, God help you. That's just not going to cut it, okay? But so some of them have to pass the prime, but you can pick up something not out in addition to your look to experience some other things, So all this is so crucial. Yes, and yes. And these are the stages of life. All of the stages are enjoyable. And if you stay there too long, that's when you get stuck. So as a motivation and PQ coach, passion coach, we are very good at identify where you are. And we are able to say which passion inside you need to kind of manage or kick up to the almost next level. That's a very, very good question. Will that step in one stage? Yes, that's why we talk about tonight. A lot of people, for example, marriage. From my experience, most of marriages, which if they rate their marriage to be like, say 0 to 10, 10 is like, I'm on the cloud 9, okay? 0 is like, oh man, I want to get out of the marriage. When you rate your marriage below 3, okay, 1, 2, 3, okay. 5 is like, okay, I'll get on with life, okay? At least we enjoy like half of my time. 3 is like, oh man, I don't know what I'm doing, but So if you rate your marriage like, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, like not even 4, most of them as a couple, they are in between these two, warrior and the perfectionist. All right, so that means they rely on a system, a marriage, a routine. They rely on to be with someone, kids still young. They have rationales where once those rationales, the condition is gone, empty nester. Whoa! So I've seen a lot of marriages, they fall on this too. And the good news is, if there's a way we can help husband and wife individually to be able to pass this and start to reignite their passion through something inside them. And if they can understand each other on that new star, they could possibly experience this prime together. That's where you can reignite that passion. It's very powerful. We have seen it. I've seen couples doing that. You will be shocked. It could be something so simple as just cooking together. Don't underestimate this. It's very, very simple stuff to make one person happy. You'll be shocked about it. All right. Any other questions online? Keep typing it up. Or don't mention the name. You can give me cases if you want. I'm opening up the floor.
What do you do if you think that multiple stages apply to your current season?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And everybody, you could have a physical condition in one season. You could have your intellectual development, emotion. So this is going to be a multi-track going on, right? But you have to understand one thing. Is like, it's very crucial. So I almost say this. There are only 2 types of people in the world. 2 types. Only 2. All right, only 2 types. And if you want me to say which 2 types, I will let you know. Okay, number 1. the type of people who already experience their pride in their life. So they got experience that how they walk through dreamer, right? And then be a defier as a teenager, or even, mid-age crisis. That happened here. Remember, man, if you start to want to ride motorcycle, start to have long hair like me, no, I'm kidding, start to do something weird, that's kind of defier. So, and, crisis making, overdo. Once you have something like pride, that's one type of people. The second type of people is they never have any experience about pride in life. I, as a coach, which I coach thousands of people, the second type of lifestyle, or the second type of people, I have a good news for you. If you are willing, any little thing, you can really lead you through a small scale, a mini pride in your life. It doesn't take for years. If you are willing, work on you, usually 7 to 8 months. Okay. So that's very crucial to really use a mini project, a mini commitment, a mini stop working together to get your life to experience that. Once you move from the camp from never experience pride to like, yeah, I can refer to one summer or one mission trip or one mundane thing I do every day for 6 months. For example, we have a coach. He's in California. He was here in US as a, we call it 小留学生 in Chinese. In English, it means he came from foreign country, young, like a middle school, starting here, different culture. So he grew up, he went through all the stages. So now he's married, he has one daughter, and his weight has been on the heavy side for all life long. Like he's probably 6'2" or 6'3", and weighs 200 something pounds. He gave me the number, like 230 something. So he's on the heavy side in terms of his size and weight. You know what? And he has soft power. I don't want to go through everything. He loves eating. Oh, high eating. Okay? So and I give you his story. And then he suddenly, through PQ coaching, he started to change on his power. That means he's willing to pick up his free will and work on eating, exercise. So he started to commit to something called intermittent fasting. That means you eat, and that 48 hours, you don't eat anything, but you eat anything you can, and really pay attention to high quality, like steak, red wine. But then 40 hours in intermittent fasting for him is very difficult, but somehow that's become a mini prime for him. Once he got that going, now it's almost 2 years he has been doing that nonstop. And while those 40 hours he does not eat anything, he cook for the family, wife and daughter. You see that? And now if you look at him, he's like, whoa, where is this guy coming from? Not muscle, but just healthy, happy. And he's now more confident about himself. Right. And that helped his career as well. You can see that little thing about eating, about exercising, it already helping to have a confidence built on passing through a prime. So that's something what we coach and we can do as a passionaire. We are very good at helping each other to have that small scale prime. Sometimes I involved with moving somewhere. Sometimes involved with discipline. Sometimes involved with commitment to do something. So, yes. So Joyce, my point is very simple. Regardless, you may have different things on different stage, but the main thing is, which is a part of your main area you work with. Even just one of them passing through prime, we're able to stir up other part of you to follow up, and follow through. We are not, like many elements. So any part of you, your body, your emotion, your career, your relationship, any of this can give you a prime experience. You'll be shocked how quickly other track will follow up. Other track will just, they just coming, like say, hey, yes, ma'am, reporting to the prime. So it's very powerful. So that's why you don't have to have every area of your life just covered perfectly. If you have that thinking, you are probably belong here. Perfectionist. Okay. Okay. So try to have one area of your life, even one passion, to experience a pride that you never experienced before. That alone has enough energy, enough, let me call this enough of push to get other part of you just think and just report. It's powerful. So don't just underestimate how we are a holistic being, not just, partition into many places. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah. So Coach Henry said, is a mini pride a breakup? I call it a nudge, like really break up the log jam of your life. So to me, that's why it's so powerful. It's not like if you have the concept, you must be perfect in every area of life to experience a pride. You misunderstand who you are. You just need a little tiny area, maybe one passion, maybe one area to experience it. It will totally change your life. So that's very, very true. I can give you tons of examples that we can help you. Any other question online, YouTube people? Keep asking. If you're asking, guys know me, know that when in a Q&A, that's where you get the most stuff out of me. Any other questions? Joyce, help me if there any question I missed. Okay. Okay. Anyone there? Yeah, how does a person break the perfect professional stage? Okay. Now, this is a very important topic. How to break out from this stage? Okay. It's yeah. Now this stage called, let me go to that stage here. Yeah. This is a tough place. It's a tough place to be. Have you been there? There are people out there like, no, yeah, they go through the loops so quickly. Like even after 5 minutes of promotion, they just feel like, oh wow, the excitement lasts only 5 minutes. Okay, so that's where the stage sound like and tastes like. Yeah, so this is a stage of life where it's I've been there too. It's very disheartening. It's very almost like hopeless. It's going through motion. This is where you feel like a zombie, just go through every motion, but you don't have that feeling, and people say like my heart died, something like that. So this happened. You watch movie, you know how that usually described in the movie, just like like quick films that rolling through like half of a year just passed by. Yeah, been there. It's a very clear stage of life. So you will be shocked how young people now start to experience this early in their life. And some of them actually are heavy in their social network. Some of the social networking addiction, if you call it addiction or social network, I know, saying that's their perfectionist house, or a video gaming. They are there. It gets stuck. That's where they feel it's something going on. Go through the motion. They don't have to think. They don't have to. The free will is to just be there. That's the only, they can master enough of free will just to stay there. Don't do anything. So this is the top part. Now, that's another thing. I may go into it, but I like to use real cases. So let me explain this stage, how we get there. Okay, so usually come from these two passions. If you are now, let me explain that. Okay, acceptance. Now you're probably with us long enough. That's sensitivity. That's the need to be need for approval. In today's language, that's basically saying like you have antenna to sense things. You got all kind of information, and for you, you keep looking for a person, a relationship, a place, a career that you feel you are accepted unconditionally. And this is definitely out there now. Now the second part of it coming in is the tranquility. All right, and that means what? That means a sense of you have a desire for a tranquil career, safe, going somewhere, but doesn't have to be too exciting, just to be safe. So for you, stress is high already. So for you to take a risk is like, yeah. All right. So these two coming in, which already give you a negative feedback loop, we call it. Okay. But then we are going to introduce number 3. When it come in, it's going to be tough. Okay. So let me give you that right now. Now, if you have this 2, and then we're going to introduce the number 3, which is called soft power. All right, soft power. What that means is you are. It's interesting phenomena. I actually found that this 3, when they are working together, it's like a quicksand. Okay, it's like the more you want to struggle, you try to overcome. You suddenly now want to overcome your stress. Like, let me face something. Let me make a change so I can get out of this. And then your acceptance coming in, like, oh, and the roommate come back and say, you want to get out of the house. A very bad relationship, like living in a very bad deal as a housemate. So that every time you walk home, you just feel, this room full of people, like, I can't live there. And but then one of them come home and just give a big smile, say, hey, we really like you here. Then you get stuck because you say, oh, wow, now I'm accepted, maybe I can, So, and then you will not able to master enough of your decision-making power to say, I need to make something happen. You can see this can be all kind. You can keep going through these 3 loops, 3 things. When they all come together, working on you, inside you. Wow, this is a very tough place where it's hard to move forward. So this coming from the warrior thing, okay, and this coming from the perfectionist that need to be accepted in your mind. Once you have this 2, and add to a soft power. When we call soft power, means you keep it to yourself. You feel like for you to really start to get a power move is like a no. You may not even know how to be a power guy. That means like make decision and own up the consequence and be responsible. So you will get stuck like this. And this one is a tough one. Okay. So if you are out there, passionate, you are going through the loop, this one will take really almost a miracle to get you out of there. All right. I hope we may have some cases coming in. We have seen a couple of weeks ago, we have one girl who was able to defeat this loop. You should go back and watch that week. All right. There's certain thing you have to touch. Now, out of this 3, my personal opinion is you have to work on this so-called soft power thing ahead of me. Can I touch it? I can touch it. Soft power. All right. So that means passive aggressiveness. That means you internalize it so much. And that means a lot of things. Everybody have different manifestation of soft power, which is not a bad thing, folks. I marry a wife. So who is soft power? And we are married for 28 years. So I know enough of soft power to speak, okay? When we first become boy and girlfriend, we had the biggest fight when we were dating. You know how the 5-star? It's very simple. It's a soft power piece. She has been the sweet, obedient wife or girlfriend type. I'm the power guy. I want to go forward, and she just be the helper, supporter. It's such a wonderful couple. And I enjoy that. I'm the big shot. I say and she follow. I thought that's a simple way. It will be forever. It didn't last long. Okay, so we had the biggest fight ever. And I remember we were preparing for the wedding, and there's something, because there's tranquility. Wedding is like, like timing, details, and that. All right. And then we both are okay, not high acceptance, but now I have a high acceptance mom who want to get every guest approval, try to send out the invitation to everybody she knows. Okay. And so we work in the environment, and now I'm a high power guy. So, and my wife worked with me. I was a fiance at that time. So it's like high tranquility, high acceptance. Like we have guests to come, we have friends, we miss it. So we are like, wow. So, and then we had the first big fight. I still remember it. And the fighting is very simple. I was there like, can you tell me why are you mad at me? As high power people, can you tell me, just say something? I just want to hear you say something. You can say you suck, whatever you say, okay? Say something. So I have something to work with, So I know how you feel. Give me something. And my fiance, okay, at that time, she couldn't master a word because she has to be obedient, soft-spoken, follower. She didn't know what to say. So my volume, I shout and louder. Would you please just slap my face? Tell me how you feel. And you can see my fiance was like, like lowering her head, and she was struggling to say even a word. That lasts for about 2 hours. So I did a stupid thing in my life. I say, in this case, you don't tell me, you don't help me out. I almost beg her. Tell me how you feel, please. Tell me. No words for 2 hours. The final moment, I say, please get out of my house. I get her out. Oh, after that, we both learn. Okay. As a high power person, I learned a lesson. But she, as a soft power -2 soft power wife or fiance, she learned one thing, like, to deal with a person like me, she has to master some words at the very beginning of any fight. Make sense, guys? She has to be very, very honest, saying how she feels, and really like be able to verbalize it, to be brutally honest, say, I don't like this. I think you make something, like almost have to speak up, And so we learned a big lesson. So she later on told me, like, wow, she never knew I could be that mad and get her out of my room. Okay. You guys know me. I'm not like, but 2 hours, try to get one word from a beautiful lady's mouth and no word. That's a horrible experience. Okay. That's get stuck at its utmost stop. Now, so she's probably watching. It's a real stop. Okay. So you can see how acceptance, tranquility, and when you have a soft power situation, that has become almost a passive aggressive. She didn't want to, she couldn't say something, but to me, I feel that aggressiveness, the quietness. Okay, you see that? So that shutting down the communication, that like shunned you out of my life, that ducking out of the communication, that actually hurt much more than a direct confrontation. So it's almost a fear of confrontation. So if you are in this loop, the fear of confrontation, the fear of opening up, the fear of communicating, fear of sharing with other people, that could really get you in this loop. And that will really get you in the perfectionist. Like you live in these three things. It's very, very challenging to get out of it. This one happened all the time. So if you are in a relationship with a person that gets stuck here, that person oftentimes need professional help, unfortunately. But as a passion coach, we could kind of help a little bit. All right. Any other question on this line? Okay, here we go. Question. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So Sherry asking this, which is a very good question. Yeah. No, this is about us parenting thing. We'll come back to the parenting thing in the next few minutes, but I want you to understand this 3 is almost like we call it a self-defeating loop. That's too technical. The more you struggle in this, you actually sunk more into it. So this is a tough situation. I want to name it. We should have a reward for those who name it like I like it. I have no idea how to name it. This could be very seasonal. I see this a lot, especially post-pandemic, because pandemic increased everybody's tranquility. A lot of today's young people, hear me out, young people out there, Instagram is one of the worst social platform to deal with your acceptance. Instagram, because everybody there, if you look at their post, perfect hair, even they have a beach life, their hair still look perfect. I don't know how they do it. I have no idea. Even they are doing the proposal to each other, every camera angle is almost perfect, professional. I'm like, how did this happen? When I got married, proposed to my wife, nobody around us, just me and her. I just pull out a ring and say, would you marry me? I don't have an angle. I don't have to look perfect. I don't dress up. I still remember that night. Okay, after 28 years later, I still remember how I proposed to her. And I have no stress. So I have to be perfectly looked, perfectly script, and say the perfect thing. I'm like, wow, today it all happened before our eyes. TikTok, Instagram. I'm like, whoa, this is just a proposal, folks. You are not even there, okay? It's not even there, okay? So it's like, wow, how about next notch is what? So if you are young people, you know I'm talking about. This is a highly designed for you to trigger, to use your acceptance to consume, to spend money, to, so this together, and then we now have a generation of soft power, unfortunately. So this altogether could be a very, very tough seasonal or generational thing. So anybody want to ask a question on this 3 before I move on to the parenting thing about stages? So, okay. Called the triple threat. I love it, Esther. You may win the award here. Triple threat. I like it. Triple threat. Yeah. Triple threat. Yeah. So the secret to me is to work on power. All right. So the secret is to work on here. So if you talk to my wife, she will tell you she still scored very low on power, but now she worked in a pharmaceutical company. She worked with, and she speak up in a very nice way, gentle, firm, but she's going to just, at the first beginning of this, she's going to express her, be a communicator. That's all. Trying the first step is be a communicator, and just try the best you can. Okay. All right. So if you're online, keep getting your, no, I did not dress up for my proposal. It was so lovely. I still remember it. I don't have much money, so our rings are like just almost like cost very, it's not, I didn't have money. I was a student. So I was like, I still remember that day and just proposed to her. Nobody around us. She accepted. I'm the happiest man in the world. Right? I don't need nobody around me that time. But I scored -2 on my social. So don't imitate me, okay? Some of you need to go out there and show off. Got you. I got you. All right, very good. SPAT, soft power, acceptance, tranquility. Henry, you're kind of rank up there too. So it's triple threat, So before you blame everybody around you, before you blame government, blame situation, blame your school, blame your professor, before you blame people who do not understand you, before you probably, the only place that you can start is actually work on your power. I have a good news for you. The power thing is a secret weapon. If I'm able to somehow get help on this one, wow, it will be something, will probably turn your life around. All right. What would you say to someone who is afraid to speak up? If I speak up, this person will no longer want relationship with me. Well, this is more than speak up. This particular motivation, it's about more than speaking is just a way. It's to express yourself in a way that not just so that means almost like I've seen people walk around with like very low power, like their body language tell you they don't want to express themselves. Okay. But I see people walk around, their body language tell you they are comfortable about who they are, and they have no fear to express who they are right now. That's very, very crucial training, actually. So what I'm trying to say is, you may not be, this is something you could train, throughout the different stage of your life, about how to express yourself. It could be verbally, which is most easiest way, but it could be facial, could be body, could be writing, could be a music. So I encourage people to sing, to listen to the music, or play an instrument. It could be your craft, some work, a carpentry. It could be working on the car, something you're able to express yourself through it. That's all count. So it could be a writer, you could be a musician, you could be even just your sports, a craft that you really spend hours to be able to express who you are. Drummer, a lot of drummers are high-powered people. Their drum notes just tell who they are inside. That's okay too. So it's very powerful. If you are Christian, this is where you train from worship, from like expressing, from be out there just to express yourself. So it's very, very crucial to work on this. Okay. All right. Any other question here? We'll get back to the parenting stuff in a minute. Anybody someone who kind of fall into the triple threat or the spat or anybody anybody, or you are in one of the stage? Okay. Yeah, Joy said she knows several. I know several people. I work with them. But if you feel like so, I would like to say you might have to start with. So this is where the counseling is very helpful. Counseling is very good at help the tranquility side, help to sit down, talk about your feeling. Okay. All right. Emotion, feeling, wonderful. Stress, feeling, emotion. But this one is about decision making. It's about, so this is your free will. It's a willpower. Let me try that one more time. Tranquility is about stress. Okay. Acceptance is about emotion and feeling. But this power side is about your willpower. That this one in this era is getting a little bit on the weak side. Okay. A lot of young men today in particular, I was joking. I was younger. I talked to Henry all the time. Like as a young man, when I was younger, like 18 to 20 in college, most of my male friends are very high-powered people. That means they want to be on top of the world. They talk loud. They whistle at girls, And these days, nobody whistles at girls. Have you seen those people? They don't exist anymore. All right. So I'm not saying you should do that, but I'm saying they want to express themselves. They are not afraid. They are too much on power. But they talk loud and big, and sometimes we have to really pull them back from their power stand, So like too much, train them to be humble, to be modest. But on the contrary, today, I don't find those young men out there. Now the young men, I don't know how they stare at their cell phone. When they talk to you, oftentimes I don't find their minds with me. They are like somewhere else. So I feel this is a very generational thing. We have a lot of data, so maybe we can release that to you down the road. So let me see. Other question here. Okay, how does a high power, low acceptance, low tranquility person effectively learn to communicate with a triple threat? Almost no chance, Joyce. No, I'm one. So yeah, if you just go opposite with this, it, it's interesting enough. This kind of people easily couple up. People who are high tranquility, high acceptance, low power, they love to couple up with low tranquility, low acceptance, high power people. They just couple up. It's like, so every time they walk into my office or the coaching session, I say, do they know what they are going to get? Okay, so watch your profile, watch your motivation. So it would almost take a lifelong. Maybe that's best for them to learn in the marriage. But a lot of people couple up because people who are high tranquility, stressful, need security, a lot of security, basic security, acceptance, that need a lot of acceptance, approval, and with soft power to be the supportive one to dive into other people's vision. Would like to find a high power talker, leader, who are risk taker and also confident. You see, they couple up easily. And then we have work to do. Work to do. It will come down first, power. Okay. So that means both sides have to work on A expression, they have to work on their willpower in a way cannot depend on each other. They have to develop on their own. How high power people talk and understand soft power, and how soft people can increase the power to meet in the middle. It's very crucial here. This one is like crucial because a lot of couple up this way and divorce this way. Okay. Not so people say if my husband's not making 6 figures, then I'll be fine. It never ends. This two will never end. Okay. But the soft power and high power is where if they don't work together well, this two will be almost like as I say, the perfectionist, like get stuck more. All right. That's when marriage get very tough. Okay. All right. It's very hand waving because I'd rather have real cases than you guys know. If you are a couple, you get in this kind of stuck mode, come online. Let me work on you a little bit. I would love to see that. And then we'll have a chance to really see how it works. Okay. Yeah, almost no chance, Joyce. So that's why before you want to walk into a relationship, you'd better work to get out of the loop first, instead of using a relationship or even a job to help you to break this loop. That's very, very crucial. All right. Any other questions or feedback, please, online people? I'll get back to the parenting in a minute. We see online with some parenting questions. Anyone have a relationship question on this? Throw that here. Let me take a sip of tea here. All right. It looks very funny. Like I'm here with this, like, let me get me out of somewhere. So, so we focus on mental health so much on this too. Folks, listen to me. The mental health methodology today kind of try to help on this too, which is wonderful. It's at least we need help here. But the real thing that instead of create dependency on a program or some kind of thing is to work on the willpower. This something is so crucial. I don't know how I don't think I can overemphasize it, how important this is. All right. Online people have anything else? Otherwise, I'll go back to the parenting question. All right. It's from Sherry. Thank you. Hope you keep asking. To every kids, when they experience different stages, what is the role that a parent can play to help them, or just few stages? This is a good question. This is actually I'll give you a little bit of my opinion on this one. Let me get there, which I hope you can understand. This is coming from years of experience, but more importantly, here we go. Here. All right. So let me go there. Parents, I almost want to say this, you will be shocked. Okay. Kids don't need your help to go through this. Let me try that one more time. This is not like learning math or violin lesson. This has nothing to do with performance or skill. You're watching a unique human being growing right next to you. So are we able to help? Yes, but it's almost like the more you help, the more they will get stuck somewhere. Okay. I don't know how much I can emphasize. So a lot of parents don't agree with me. And your Tiger Mom, Eagle Dad strategy won't work here. It's almost like, you almost have to go to, I often use this to say like, you are parent for life. You are not doing parenting for life. Let me explain that what I mean. Parent for life, that means you have a lifelong relationship. And your life does not, as a parent, does not build on, your value does not depend on how much your children grow. You cannot solely depend on that. Let me put it that way. That means you have a very unique human being growing in your family. It's not we just abandon them. No. The more important thing is if you are as an individual, if you are as a couple, you are going through your own struggle and you are still going through a developmental cycle. That means you should be almost like a teammate running on the same track with your kids starting from day one. All right. So if they watch you running, still developing, still growing, still struggling, but they watch you and your spouse also are running and developing, that's probably the best you can do. Let me example. Like you want your kids to like learn violin. So you must have a dream for them to learn a violin. Whether the dream is going to Ivy League school, I don't care. You have a dream, right? But is that really a kid's dream? Or is that your dream? Okay. So you almost have to figure out, do you like music? If you don't like music, why you must have your kids to learn music? So if you want to do it, I would say you probably pick up an instrument or something. You know, if you start loving music or art or pick up something equivalent, that's as effective as you coming kind of push that kids through different stages. So I'm saying this because but there are different seasons. Okay, I'll get to that in a moment. But so I'll give you how the kids break down by ages when they have to at least experience a prime. Most of the kids experience prime around teenager years. So teenage is so crucial. Is where they should experience prime. Doesn't mean success. Let me just explain carefully. The prime is an experience. It could look ultimately a failure, but that experience, that stage of development is a must to go through. So dear parents, please, I almost want you to hands off of this one. I want you to really enjoy the process of watching almost your kids to fail. Now I just say it. So so that's as much as because I'm trying to over saying this because I've seen the other end of the spectrum where the parents are guiding their kids to go through every stage of life. I guarantee you, your kids either in the dreamer, defier all the time, or your kids as a 12-year-old already a perfectionist, have a schedule, know 3 languages, plays 3 instruments. You know what I'm saying? that it's horrible for them to be there, only 12-year-old. Okay. So especially mentality. So parent, please, but I'll give you a normal development. This is just a statistic, how a kids grow from the stages, hopefully around teenagers, get some kind of pride. Now, I don't want you to have a super development, like, oh, the kids at 12-year-old already go to college. Sorry, I'm not interested in that. Okay. So there's a certain development going through this. Now, so when the kids is about 2 or 3 or 4, preschool, they are definitely, everyone was a dreamer. Have you been with kids there, 3, 4, 5? Especially you call it terrible too. So the kids, in the preschool, kindergarten, that's where the dream and the fire coming in. Okay, they try to get into society, get into the system, but they are not there. They want to go to school 3 hours, but they will come back. This. So this is where they use their body, use their touch. They play. They climb the tree and fall. They try to climb on everything, throw thing. It happened. Okay. So this is where I think they are naturally dreamers. You'll be shocked like how every one of us get that development or one way or another. So that's where, please don't crush their dream early on or just define their dream. Take them as much as possible to places to experience it. That's when their neural system is connecting. It's really start to connect. Grow a lot of their brain power. Okay, without willpower, it's brain power, information connecting. So I bring them physical things. Let them just play. They them just on the floor. Climb. So this is a natural. This is a trip. This is a sport. Sports is very good. Here. Knock on someone on the floor or just to do a football thing. I have no idea. Swimming, go to a trip somewhere, a slide, seesaw, all this. Play. This is where they discover their passion. You'll be shocked. You can throw some kind of stuff, let them Legos, so they can build something. You can throw the book. You can just read something, even some movie. Take them travel around, museum. I have no idea. You can go through all the passions we have. Let them experience. Let them be unassumingly be there. Their visual, their skin, sensory things, their smell. This is where they grow their brain power, the creativity. All right. So if you come to me and your kids is like 6 years old, you start to send your kids to learn a skill. You look at my face, it's like, what are you doing? Let them experience the world, discover. It's very crucial. All right. So now, once they get into the elementary school, now we're going to the crisis maker. Crisis maker means, every crisis will be your educational window. Coachable moment. That's where you get involved. Okay. So it's almost like they are going to try their free will to make decision, and there will come a crisis. So for example, my son Zach, when he went to elementary school, he has low order like me. He became a crisis maker. The first crisis, he didn't bring his homework. So he called me from school. Dad, can you send me my homework? It's so important. I didn't have it. I remember he was 2nd grade. And I told him the following: you probably don't like me after this. Please don't drop me from your subscription. All right. Please keep there. And I say, Zach, bring homework to school as Dad agree with you. It's your responsibility. So I'm not going to take the homework to school. He was so shocked. Okay. Crisis maker. And that's when they start every crisis. I want you to turn that. Instead, you have a facial expression compared to other kids. This is where every crisis in anything become a teachable, become a coaching experience, an opening for them. So don't judge them. Don't throw your value system on them yet. This is where you let them to free will. So that's where the soft power comes in. Let them have that say. Let them have that way to express themselves. Sometimes look like rebellious. No, it's actually they are trying. So this is on elementary school to the 4th and 5th grade. This will go almost to the peak crisis and all that. And this is the moment I want you to do system as well. Are they able to take care of themselves? Is there a system as a family you guys can communicate? Do you eat together? Do you have some time the whole family relax together? That the crisis, the moment, the relationship that you can really communicate and help them to digest, to reflect, internalize, and then act upon their free will to be able to solve the problem. Critical thinking is very, very crucial. So the crisis making is so crucial that, but we want to skip this. We want to quickly move them to overdoer, fill them every week schedule. Oh, I have look at some of the modern days kids schedule. I am in awe. It's like, so I have a kids just tell like, Coach K, I spent my most preteen years, the only way I can communicate with my parent is through the rear view mirror in the van. You know why? Every time they have only time to communicate when the kids sit in the back seat, the van, mom and dad driving somewhere for some program. Have you been there? Overdoer. Okay. So for them, and then once they get to, so need some system. Can they take care of their room? There's some discipline you can help. That one can coming in. The one way you can help them is to help them to have a system to work, a system for personal hygiene. So my son, Zach, every year since elementary school, he has to pick up one chore from the house. So now he's been cleaning his own clothes for almost 7 years. I don't have to worry about it. He put it into the dishwasher, dry it every week, like a clock. Praise God. Oh, it's so good. So, and he has to learn how to clean stuff. So get a system, so let your kid to be a being that you can help. A lot of people don't put value on it. We put high value on that. Okay. Put a system to rest. Very important today. Do you have a home family system to rest? Or you are running the track like this, you never rest. You have to help your kid how to relax in today's thing. Do you have a day of no cell phone day? Do you have something you can sit down? So I remember, when Zach was 12, we have Saturday morning. It's like do nothing morning, nothing, absolutely nothing. We commit to do nothing for a year. Okay, so help him to work on acceptance, help him to feel like, wow, this is so unique. So are you willing to do that? Okay. And then they will gradually go into pick up certain area. So, I try sports with my kids. Baseball, I bought the best thing equipment I didn't have as a kid for Zach to be a baseball player. I dream that he can be a baseball player. It's going nowhere. Okay. I spent thousands of dollars of equipment. I played them. He didn't. How about that? I tried basketball, my favorite sport. No going. And after a certain period of time, he picked up cross country. Now he's thriving. You see that? You have to trust that you have a unique human being in your family. You say, Coach K, they all play video game. Well, that's another thing, that how we can help them to have a disciplined system. Yeah, you can play video game, but if you want to play as a resting tool, let's set up a time boundary. When you play, I won't say the word. So that's why when Zach was younger, he wanted to play video game to learn, to relax. I say, okay, so don't play during school day. Weekend, we give you play. Okay. And so we start set up a boundary, a system around it. So from crisis maker, and then there will be overdoer. Don't worry about it. If your kids, the motivation, you don't kill their motivation and passion. Believe me, please, parent, when they get to high school, this Gen Z has enough pressure to be overdoer. That's actually the danger. So they will pick up stuff on their own. Believe me, they have seen everything on Instagram and internet. They got idea. They just have to try. So the danger of there is actually become overdoer. So I don't want you to start pushing that cycle so quickly. Like even before middle school, they are overdoer, right? Please stop, please. And I always say that if you have 3 things your kids are learning, you make sure they're expert of nothing. They can only focus 1 or 2 major things in high school today. All right. So that days of like, oh, my kids know 10 different things. That season already passed. If you look at some of the current things from one of the best school admission officer in this nation, they write 65 colleges sign something together, say, turning the tide from Harvard educational school education. They said, we don't want kids to major in 13 APs. Once you do that, they will not take you to their school. You know why? Because if the kids master 13 APs, means that kids does not have time to sit down and watch TV with family. The kids doesn't have time to sit down, wash dishes for his mom. A kid doesn't have time to develop relationships. So this campus say, I don't want this kind of kids coming in because we are not your parent to help them to develop that relationship. They don't have any skill to develop relationship. You see, so people say, oh, that's racial discrimination because you mentioned Asian do certain AP. Yes, no, it's not. It's something they learn from people doing that. So our danger here sometimes overdo. Okay, so and yes, and then a lot of them just have a small scale prime, and then quickly they want to keep that prime here. Maybe a sports team winning a champion, so they want to keep it here. Then our job, if we have a job, is to run our track. So sometimes we are too busy to care about them. That's not a bad thing, folks. Especially when into middle and high school, that they watch us growing. They watch us still struggling. They watch us still going through our prime, and we're able to share lives, so they will be okay. So I've seen many kids right now coming back, and they have the testimony on Sunday. They say what really encourages them to be a passionaire is watch their parents still growing, still learning, still loving, still sometimes suffering, but willing to still run through their prime. And you see that's so crucial. Don't put your pride on your kids' accomplishment, please. Okay. Then you decouple yourself from their prime. That's the best strategy so far. So now, if they go to warrior and the professionalist stage, you need a community. So before the college, I strongly recommend, in addition to you and your spouse, your kid need 5 additional mentor, sponsor, friends, not online. So you have to develop that. It could be a coach, school coach. It could be a church, a youth leader. It could be your best family friends, So they need to develop additional 5 people. They are able to talk about life, not just accomplishment, not learn about what they do. They need that. Okay, so that's why it's very crucial that you have to invest. I'm not saying just money. Invest time. Yes, money too, to be able to have that. So I've seen so many kids, like they become overdue academically when they were in middle school already. And when they get into college, I look at their face. According to some of my Ivy League professor friends, they say, Coach K, Asian kids, everybody look like a emotionless, I say, yeah, everybody. And when I talk about exciting stuff, nobody show excitement. Everybody look at me like they have been through wars or something. They are the veterans from like life. And every time, if I give them a question to solve, they are able to solve it right away. But every time when they come into class, say, hey, come up with a question you want to deal with. Come up with a essay that we can work together. Is any problem you figure out you want to really challenge? Asian students fall big time behind that. They cannot find their own problem to solve. They are waiting somebody give them a problem to solve. We have to change that culture, folks. So, I speak my mind now. Okay, so we have enough experiences one-on-one and all that, going through the best, all kind of system around us. So, so if you go to the warrior, perfectionist, you have to build that community where you can ability to be vulnerable. You need that. Could be a local church, could be a fellowship, could be a sports team, could be just a family friend get together. You need to build that to be able to, in today's modern world, for the Gen Z, we call it Generation Z, to be able to, when they get in here, they have someone to talk to. It's very bad if you then just Google the solution. That's the worst case to deal with the warrior and perfectionist, because it's getting worse. I say, see, they will feed into their acceptance, feed into their tranquility, feed into their self-power. So it's almost, you have to train them like when you face in the life problem, You got to have channel and the courage and the training to express where you are. You got to ask for help, and you need to verbalize exactly where you are. That's where, that training is so important. It's more than just leadership. It's just to how to express yourself in today's world and say honestly, not ideology, not the overdoer, not the crisis maker, not the defier, not the dreamer. Don't talk about all this. Talk about where you are right now. Like, as a human being, how are you doing? That's so crucial. All right. Other question, we are coming down to anything else? All right. So, Passionaire, I'm glad you are here. I know today is me talking all the time, but the next couple of weeks, if you find someone or you are one of this, you want us to have a data in my hand, I won't show to anybody. We are trained and we have tons of experiences, but most important, you have a community here. This is where you can find like-minded parents, like-minded young people. We call them the tribe. You can really find them and start to build a relationship with your coach, with people trained together, that you are able to walk together and build that community around you. So are you stuck? The good news for you is if you figure out what kind of pattern you get stuck, there's a way out. That means let's move. There's a sense of direction. Let's move on to the next stage. Hopefully we'll see each other on the track. I'm still running my track. I'll tell you my track right now. My track is from crisis maker all the way to overdoer. I'm on the overdoer side. I'm an overdoer right now. So I need help as well to pass. I have to focus all the time. So now I have Henry, I have people around me. My wife say, Coach K, isn't this what you should be doing? I love it. Okay. So you see, even me are running as well. So, but my focus right now is you as part of Passion. I really feel this season, I have to lay down a lot of things by focusing on you as a community. So that's what we have this Thursday night and also Monday morning Chinese version, because I feel this is time for me to come out and connect and be able to focus on our community a little bit more. So I'm running. I hope we are running. Get out that jam lock, or how do you call it? Jam lock. Yes. All right. Hope to see you next week. We have a wonderful, wonderful story coming up. A client, I have seen her profile. So hopefully you can come in and listen, and we can all grow together. All right. So I have to say good night right now. Hopefully see you guys soon.